Every man's a king. Today, boys and girls, we're going to talk a little bit about the responsibility of an adult as far as children goes. Um, an adult is someone who takes the lead, and not just for the reasons to raise a kid properly, but that a kid or your child can have a good start in life. And every man's a king and every woman's a queen to their children. So the point of this video today is, first of all, let me introduce myself to those who may not know me. I'm a music artist, Stone Thug. I'm a writer, and I do a lot of other things too. If you want to know more about that, you can either Google Stone Thug or you can watch my YouTube videos on Stone Thug Music channel on YouTube. But now to the point that every man's a king, every woman's a queen to their children. It's not so much talking about the status of a king or a queen, but your position of power in the eyes of your children. Not only are you powerful, and you may not be powerful or famous or really, uh, a big deal in the real world, as people consider themselves being a big deal. But in the eyes of your children, or in the eyes of probably all children under a certain age, especially from 4 to 7, you are a king or someone in the king's circle. So I highly recommend that, since we are on occasions around children of those ages, that you represent your kingdom and your king head or queen head properly when you're around those kids. Now, maybe properly is not the right word, because you consider yourself proper all the time. Most people do. But what I mean is advantageous to the child. You have within your power for that little moment that you're around your neighbor's kids, the kids in the park, your children, any children at the workplace. When you come in contact with a child, any little thing you say, any little gesture you make that gets the child's attention, and that's just about anything, because to them you're special because you're a big person in their eyes. You might have 50 cents in your pocket, but to them you're a millionaire. And if you looked at every child that looked at you and they saw you as someone who was the president of the United States, or as a millionaire, or as an important person, then every move you make in front of that child will be special and significant. And believe it or not, that child will remember what you do, your reaction, how you make them feel days after, weeks, months, and even years after your interaction with the kid. So I don't want to make this a super long video, but I just want to make the point that you are a king. Every man's a king, as Huey Long would say from the past. Every woman's a queen in the eyes of a child. And the impressionable years of children is about 4 to 7. If you come in contact with them, speak and be supportive. And I know some people have creepy ideas about children and things of that nature, but that's not everybody. And that's not even the majority of people. It's a lot of people out there, but you're not one, right? So you can make an impression. You can say something, you can do something, you can carry yourself a certain way where you can be an influence on a young, developing mind. So keep that in mind. Remember that. That's really your superpower. Everybody has a superpower, and that's yours. And that is your moment to shine. You don't have to lift a car up. You don't have to pay for their ice cream. You don't have to um, fix the problems in their lives. But little stuff with somebody directly in front of you on your path through life will make a significant impact on uh, little ones. So please keep that in mind. Use your superpowers effectively, and they're most effective to not only your children, but to children around you at the ages of 4 to 7. So be a superstar. Every man's a king, every woman's a queen. This is your boy Stone Thug. And remember, be good to those kids because, hey, one of these days you're going to get old. And when you get older, those pains and aches come. And they're not more than you can bear, but it takes to be nice to little ones. They will remember you. And even, and especially your children, if you train them. Now, you can train a child to do stupid stuff and be lazy, or you can train a child to want to help people, to want to extend to you. And as long as you get out their way and fight your own impatientness, because that's the biggest problem when we train children, is that we're so impatient, we don't want to wait for them to learn something. And we expect them to do a great job at first, but you have to remember, you didn't do a great job at first. So as long as you're patient and you train them, like my grandmother trained me, my mother trained me, my father trained me, my grandmother started real early. One day she took me when I came to visit her. I was about 3 years old, maybe 2.5. And she put a little sponge in my hand. And she took me to the bathtub. And she showed me how to rub the bathtub just with the sponge. And I knew even at that early age that this was no game and this was not fun and this was not what I normally do. But I went on and rubbed. And I took the sponge and I rubbed and rubbed and rubbed. And I think I probably only made a circle or a little teeny little spot. And she let me stay there and do that for about a whole 2 or 3 minutes. And then she took the sponge away and gave me a hug and brought me back to her. But I was 3 years old, and I still to this day remember that first experience of working around the house or helping her. Now, of course, I only made a little spot. I only did it for just a few seconds, but it stayed with me. And it will stay with your children, and it will stay with your neighbor's kids. Because if you put it in their minds early that work is a good thing, and that helping your grandparents and helping your parents is a good thing, well, then they won't know no better. They won't know that as they get older and get their minds infected, saying that, oh, you don't want to do this, and you don't want to do that, oh, they making me do this and making me, they won't think like that. But it's up to you to train and condition them. And that's where your superpowers come into play. Your attitudes, they will adapt. They will adjust to your attitudes, the way you look at stuff. So she didn't have me out there for an hour or half an hour, or even 10 minutes. She had me out there for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Of course, I didn't know what I was doing. Of course, I didn't do anything significant, but it was enough to put the thought in my head at 3 years old or 2.5 that helping her, helping them, helping parents is something that we can do. So when they get older, it's not so amazing that your kid will actually want to do something for you. Carry your grocery, take your garbage out, do their chores, but a little extra, because you get a certain age, you're going to need them to take you to the doctor's office, drive you. And I'm always very impressed when I see young people who, I saw this one young lady, extremely beautiful. I'm talking about a 10-10. And she was on one of these shows and she was saying, well, I have to stop and take my grandmother to a doctor's appointment. And she didn't say it like it was a chore. She said it like it was just part of her everyday duties. And the fact that she was so stunning, you would think that she could have grown up spoiled where she didn't want no real contact with older people. She just wanted to be in the streets and have fun, laugh, get high, drink, and talk crazy. But no, she was, somebody worked with her when she was little. So now that she's older, she gets it. I'll leave you with this one little story here and then we're done. But do you know why they say elephants have great memories and they never forget? That's what they say. When you go to the circus or you see elephants in the zoo, or elephants that are part of circus elephants, they say they never forget. Part of the reason they say that is because the way they train elephants, if you notice, elephants in a circus usually have a little tiny string wrapped around their leg, and the other end of the string is attached to a pole in the ground or some sort of wooden post. And you think to yourself, even as a child, why does this elephant stay in this spot when he has this tiny itty bitty little string tied around his leg? I mean, he can break that string. I mean, we can almost break it. But the reason why this elephant does not pull away and break the string where they have him bound to is because when the elephants are little tiny elephants, baby elephants, they put a big old heavy chain on the elephant's leg when he's little. So as he grows older and gets bigger, they make the chains smaller and smaller. And as the elephant reaches maturity, it goes from a big old heavy chain to a middle-sized chain to a small chain to just a metal lacing to a rope, a little rope, and then a tiny rope as he gets bigger and bigger. And it doesn't make sense, you might say, because the elephant weighs 10 times, 20 times, 30 times more than he did when he was little. But yet his strength is 30 times more as well. So why do they go from a big chain to a little string? Because in the elephant's mind, just like a child's mind, when he was little, he remembered he could not break away from that chain. And now that he's older, in his mind, that little tiny little string represents that great big chain, and he knows he can't escape it. He knows in his mind he can't pull away. In reality, he can, but he won't even try because all his life, that rope could not be broken. That chain could not be broken. And he doesn't distinguish between the rope and the chain. And that's how children are if you train them right. And that's how you are. And that's how I am. Anyway, this is your boy Stone Thug. I hope you enjoyed that little story. And I hope that you put it in action, because action speaks louder than words. And if you're someone who's away from your children, maybe through divorce or distance, that you take that little time and be patient. Because yes, we all chasing a dollar. We all chasing our next thrill. But that time that you spend with children, those are your superpower moments. And they will remember. And it will make a difference. Okay, it's your boy Stone Thug with Stone Thug Music. StoneThug.com. Google Stone Thug. Got lots of music, comedy CDs, and lots of good stuff. So peace. Stone Thug out. Every man's a king. Every woman's a queen if they choose to be.